All right, Ashrit, I think we are live right now.
Yeah, I can. Yep, yep.
I don't think anyone has joined us yet because we're just now coming on, but how are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. It's I think it's pretty good weather-wise outside today too. I guess, or I don't know if it's just cloudy, but
Yeah, it was a little rainy yesterday, but I think it's supposed to be nice today.
yeah.
Um, so what have you been doing on your free week? Because there's no class this week.
Oh, my 3 weeks just been me trying to rest up. I mean, I prepare myself for summer classes, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So all I do is I just sleep, play games. That's all I do every day, especially this week.
Yeah. Um, are you taking summer courses, Ashrit?
Um, yes. I think I'll be taking one summer course, and it's for calc. It's for differential equations for math. So yeah, just that.
Cool. Writing a little note to everyone here. So today, please know that we are here to answer your questions as well as share some basic information that we have. Ashrit is the expert today. He is a student here. He's a sophomore. So if you have questions that you want to hear specifically from a student, he can definitely help you out with that. Just go ahead and put
Thank
go
you
ahead
so
and put your
much. Yeah.
questions in. I see we have a question already. Someone is on
Oh,
board, ready. So Ashrid and I actually talked a little bit about this morning. So we have a student who's asking, is the resumption for fall 2020 still sure?
that's a really good question. That's something that we're looking for an answer to, I guess. But I think as of now, it's not been decided as to if it's going to be online or not. So just hold on to us. We'll give you an answer soon.
Yes. Yeah, Ashrit is exactly right. I think we're all anxiously awaiting for a decision to be made. Currently, summer courses, which start on Monday, will all be held online. And we're waiting for a call on fall, whether that will be online or in campus or on campus.
Yep.
But as soon as we know, we'll definitely let you know. There, even if you're a new student though, and you want to start courses, there will be an online option for you. So we'll give you more information as we find out more. Asher, do you want to talk a little bit about how it was taking classes online this spring?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. And what happens is for studying through books and studying face to face all my life, moving to online was a huge difference for me. Um, because online in general just changes the perspective of studying because everything right now you're at home all the time and you try to study, which is kind of distracting for me because I don't get to pay as much attention to studies as much as how I used to face to face. This whole change was in general like how do I say it? The whole change was completely, I'd say, memorable for me because it's not something that going to keep happening frequently. But I learned a lot of things in general by by having classes online, but also I met face to face. So this whole experience is completely different.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your experience, Asher. I think, yeah, it's something that we all had to get used to.
Yeah.
Um, I see there's a question here about how will students be able to join courses if they're still in their home country. So we at Minnesota State University use something called D2L, Desire to Learn, which is a learning platform for students, and that is how we do most of our online coursework. So if there was a need for you to do online courses from your home country, we would send information about joining those courses online on our site D2L. And we would hopefully give you information on what sort of bandwidth you would need and how often you would need access to internet so that you can make sure that it is logistically plausible for you. We will also be doing some research to make sure that it is legal for us to give courses to you in your home country. Most countries, though, we can legally provide academic support to you, though, even if you're not here. So yeah, we would definitely be giving more information about that. Ashrit, do you want to talk more specifically about that learning platform, the D2L
Yeah.
platform?
So I'm a sophomore and my major is computer engineering. So in this semester, which was basically completely online, I'd taken important classes like calculus, physics, then electrical engineering classes, which is basically my major class. So what exactly happened was on my D2L, we used to get our quizzes, we used to get our assignments, and there's due date for every single one of them. And there were certain subjects which took me to an external website, but as of now, that's not something that I would like to emphasize on. D2L is where most of your quiz work, your grades, your assignments, and sometimes your exams too are usually on your D2L. And according to me, it's one of the most important websites to know about since you're in this university because even if it's not online, even if it's face to face, your assignments are usually on D2L. And that's basically a learning platform. I think it's called Desire to Learn. And that's the platform where people usually come in and, study and practice. Because that's the platform which has assignments, quizzes, and all of those.
Thanks, Ashrit. I think I have taught some courses at MSU. Ashrit has been so lucky. He was actually
Yeah,
in one of my courses, and it was amazing, right, Ashrit?
yeah. I mean, I enjoy the class.
Yeah, I teach
I
just a
enjoy the class a lot. Yeah.
good. He has to say that because I can
No.
still go back and change his grade. Just kidding. I can't do that. Um, Yeah, I use D2L to set up a lot of resources for students. I think that it's a really good way for students to find resources all in one place. And most of our professors
Absolutely.
are getting really good at using it. And I'm actually going to reply to your comment here with a website on our website that will tell you a bit more about D2L as well. So you can check that out when you would like. Um, we have a bunch of people joining us. I see Dominic is out there. Hey, Dominic and JC, good morning. Sheer, our GA who just graduated, she joined. We miss her so much, but glad to see you all here. So if that kind of is some of those basic questions, Ashrit and I can go ahead and get started with our presentation. And again, you feel free to write your questions in here because we will be happy to ask them or answer them as soon as we can. Hi, Liberty. I see Liberty is on this morning. Good to see you. Well, kind of, I don't see you, but he says, how is this online interface going to affect new students getting visa since the immigration regulations requires face-to-face for a couple of credits? Are there any changes on this? So I'll go ahead and field this question, Ashrit, if that's okay. So if students were learning from their home country, it would mean that they wouldn't be required to have a student visa at that time. We are making this an option because right now, as many students know, embassies and consulates are closed and visa appointments are not available at this time. So we also know realistically, if we are on campus this fall, there may be a handful of you that cannot get a visa appointment in time to join us in fall. So if you were to do online courses, we would recommend being part-time, so 2 to 3 courses online, just to help out, keep you involved and help you move towards your degree, even if you can't be here on campus. And we're hopeful that if you can show a consulate or an embassy staff member that you've done courses and you're committed to your education, that it might help with that visa appointment once you get one. We, of course, cannot guarantee that that would be the case. So I hope that helps out with your question, Liberty. But yes, face-to-face is required. Of course, right now there are some changes with that. But we are hoping that students will be able to get a visa actually and be able to join us. And just for students who are watching, if you have been admitted for fall and you cannot get a visa to join us on campus in fall, or we're just not on campus in fall, you can actually defer your admission to spring 2021 and join us in spring, hopefully. So, all right. I hope that answered your question, Liberty. Always out there trying to keep me on my toes, I know. So, and then there's a question here about full tuition scholarships. Ashrit, do you want to talk a little bit about scholarships?
Yes. So our university provides a scholarship worth 40%, oh, actually no, 30% of the overall tuition fee, which basically is a huge difference for tuition, international students. Um, One thing that state universities do not do is that provide 100% waiver in the tuition fee, which is basically 100% scholarship. That's not something that state universities do. But apart from, so what happens is the international student scholarship is given to students as soon as they're enrolled in a university. And in order to maintain that particular scholarship, you have to satisfy certain criteria. Um, I think the criteria are you had to be 3.0 GPA cumulative above. Then you have to have 25 hours of cultural contribution hours. And then in general, you have to have like good grades, which gives you the basic idea as to how you need to like maintain a scholarship. Apart from this one particular scholarship, there are additional scholarships that students can apply to, but that's not something that you would get as soon as you enter the university, but that's something that you would get after quite some time. Maybe after the first semester or the first year, that's when you would get that scholarship. But as soon as you enter, the best scholarship opportunity you have is the 40%, the 30% cultural contribution scholarship.
Right. Thank you, Ashrit. Also, my fiance's mom is here with us. Hi, Sue. I just want to say hi. So exactly like Ashrit said, we do have that international student scholarship, which does reduce our tuition quite a bit. Once you've become enrolled here after your first year, typically more scholarship options do become available to you. So you can apply for scholarships through your department. There are some specific for international students through the Carney Center. There's different scholarship opportunities available to you. Those are on a competitive basis though. So we do want you to make a financial plan to come and be able to support yourself, even if you don't get additional scholarship funding. And jobs, we do have on-campus jobs, but those can sometimes be hard to find and also are quite competitive. Ashrik, do you want to talk about your experience trying to find an on-campus job?
Absolutely. So I'm a sophomore right now. That basically means I've finished a whole year and a half right now. So when I just came in, I started looking for a job, and my first job was in Sodexo, which is basically the food court on campus. And for me, in order to get a job, it took a whole semester because wherever I applied and whatever job I tried to get into was full already because there are limited amount of on-campus jobs and there are a lot more international students than the jobs available. And it's not just the international jobs who apply for the jobs on campus. There are the students who study who are from Minnesota, who are from the US, who apply for the jobs too. So the jobs get really competitive. And eventually, as you give it time, you start, getting more opportunities of getting a job. So getting a job as soon as you come is unlikely, but it is possible, but it is very unlikely of happening. So it's always better to be prepared to, get a job after the first or the second semester. That's my experience.
Yeah, and I know from students that I have advised and known here at Minnesota State, I think Ashrit's experience is very typical. Um, it, getting a job once you've kind of been here for a while and know people is usually a little bit easier because a lot of times, those jobs are kind of word of mouth. You find out from a friend that there's maybe an opportunity or an opening. So we do highly recommend that you make sure you are financially able to do at least 1 year without a job or additional funding. Liberty, I love that you're here. You need to come do one of these info sessions with us. So I'll be in touch with you. But Liberty says, it's not a full waiver, but it is really helpful. And I do want you to know that yeah, this scholarship really makes our tuition very affordable. And what you get for your tuition money at Minnesota State, I think, is really awesome. There's a lot of different opportunities that would be available to you. And Ashford, I know that we have this PowerPoint and everything, but I'm wondering if we can maybe skip ahead a little bit and talk about some of the things around campus that you would actually get for your tuition money and what you can take advantage of.
Oh, um, our campus is a very big campus. It has 5 campuses in Fall. So initially, when I came into this university, I stayed on campus. I stayed in Crawford Resident Hall, and trust me, that's one of the best memories. My favorite memories, I would say, it was made in the dorms because I had a lot of friends. I had international students as friends. I had students from the US who were really close to me. They were really helpful. Coming from a different country, people are usually skeptical about it. But then once I came here, I was completely relieved that I had them as my roommates and I had them as my floor mates, dorm mates, whatever you could call them. And one of the other memorable thing was the dining center. So staying on campus, I had access to the dining center, and they used to be different kinds of food every single day, and I used to like it a lot. And then apart from this dining center, there are cafes, there are coffee shops on campus. Like for example, there's a Taco Bell, there's Chick-fil-A, there's Herbert and Gerbert, and then there's Jasmine coffee shop, and all of those, which I would really, really suggest that you guys try it once you come here. And then if you're into, health and if you're into playing sports, there's so many recreational facilities. We have a huge gym with all the facilities in it. Then we have squash courts, and we have football courts, we have soccer courts, we have tennis courts. We have so many recreational facilities which the students could use. Um, Coming to academic side, then there's a library. There's a really really big library that people would really appreciate getting into. It's a huge library where you could study on your own with no distractions. There's a lot of things they give access to you. They give access to computers. They give access to laptops. They give access to headphones. It's something that you guys should really use. And most importantly, there are computer labs too, especially if you're into IT and if you're into all those, you need access to computers, and there are a bunch of computer labs on campus. And Yeah. And even though our university is 150 years old, we still have modern facilities and academic buildings. That's something that I really look forward to before coming here, and I'm really impressed the way they've used it. Um, and yes, most important the technology support. We have different kinds of support staff to help us throughout the whole, I'd say, stay in Cato, because our technology support usually there's something called IT Solutions Center, which are architects who help you with any sort of IT issues, if there's any sort of technology issues, and all of that. And there are multiple student support services. Like for example, the KIC itself is a student support services. We are always here to help you. And this is something that you need to know of, because if there's any issues as international students, KIC is always there to help. And apart from the KIC, there are multiple other student support services too, like the LGBT Center, a lot more than that. And one of the most important programs that the university in US provide is the honors program. These honor programs help you get better internships, better jobs, and not better jobs exactly, but it gives you access to different kinds of jobs. And that's something that I would want to join too. And in order to join it, you need to maintain a really good GPA, which I'm doing it right now, and soon I'll join an honor program myself. And one of the most important center in our university is the Career Development Center, which basically has important information regarding a career. They help you make your resume perfect. And I think one of the most important was the career fairs, which I experienced on my own. I attended one of the career fairs, which had multiple companies come in. I had to hand in my resume, and then they looked at my resume. Then I just spoke to them. I interacted with them as to what they do, how they hire, what are they based on, how are they doing in the market right now. These are the questions that you could ask them in a career fair, and you get to interact with them personally face to face, and that's something that I really appreciate.
Yeah, I think we're so lucky at Minnesota State in Cato, like Ashrit said, because we've been around for a really long time, over 150 years, which means we have a lot of alumni who want to hire our students.
Absolutely.
And yeah, our education is awesome. I'm sure Ashrit can tell you more
Yeah.
about that. But employers want you, and they will hire you. It definitely helps that there are 5+ career fairs on campus where they actually come and recruit you, but through faculty members and other staff members, you'll hear of internship opportunities too. So that is a huge benefit of coming to our university. Um, all right. Well, it's almost 7:30. I always like to keep these things not short and brief, but keep you all wanting more. So we'll do a little bit more here, and then um, we'll actually let you go about your day. I would like to touch a little bit more on our location, though. Minnesota is a place that sometimes people haven't heard of, or if they have heard of it, it's because of like Big Time Rush or there's a show. I don't know. That's a lot of people know. But I think kind of the everyday life, what it's like here at Minnesota, is not something that people know a lot about. So I would like Ashrit to talk a little bit about what it was like to move to Minnesota from a completely different part of the world and maybe tell you more about that.
Yeah. So I'm from India. So the weather over there is extremely warm and humid. And the moment I moved here, and I moved here in the spring semester, which basically falls in between the winter. And I came maybe at one of the worst time possible, because the winter which I came in, the temperature dropped to, I think, minus 50 degrees Celsius, and I think that goes to minus 54 degrees Fahrenheit. And that was a whole different experience for me. But considering apart from the temperature, Minnesota is a beautiful location to be, and there are so many lakes. Minnesota is called the land of 10,000 lakes, and that's something that, still awes me just looking at it. It's something really, really beautiful. And Minnesota in general, the people are extremely nice. They're very friendly to you. Coming from a different country, as I told you before, I was very, very scared because I don't know how I was going to, cope up with the different cultures and all that. But Minnesotans are very, very friendly, and they will never let you feel out, anything other than that. That's for sure. And Minnesota has a top state for business, and I mean, Minnesota is in general a top state for business, education, engineering, manufacturing, technology. There are multiple companies which hire you. There are multiple famous companies because 17 of the Fortune 500 companies are located in Minnesota. And and obviously the most important thing is the Mall of America in Minnesota, which is the biggest. Yeah, that's something that I have to mention, because Mall of America is the biggest mall in America, and it's in Minnesota, and that mall is amazing too. There's a theme park within the mall, and that's something that that's something everyone needs to see when they come here.
Yeah, the Mall of America is definitely something you need to see. I have hosted friends here in Minnesota from different countries or different part of the states, and they're not shoppers. They don't necessarily like to go shopping, but they were thoroughly impressed with the Mall of America. It's really something to see. It
Yeah,
is
it's
a whole
huge.
different part of American
It's
culture.
huge. Yeah,
Yeah. Ashrit, have you gotten into any water sports since you've been here? Do you
water
go
sport.
kayaking or
No, and
swimming?
no, not yet. And we had a plan of doing that maybe in a week or two, if it settles down, but we don't know yet. So we'll see how
Yeah,
it goes. That'll be my first experience in US though. I mean, I've
yeah,
tried back home. I've been involved in many water sports, but not here.
yeah. Well, this coming week, I know the weather is supposed to be like summer, like 90
Yeah,
degrees. So I'm sure you'll be able to do that.
yeah.
Great. If you hear anything, it's my cat. She's playing with every sort of toy you can think of right now, really close to me. So I think, Ashrit, we've talked about some of the great things about studying here. Um,
Good.
just very briefly to give you more of an idea, if you're new to Minnesota State, we do have over 130 different bachelor's degrees that you can choose from. If you're interested in master's or doctoral programs, we have 85 of those, so that's pretty impressive. Um, our our programs are divided into 7 colleges. I know one of the most popular colleges is the College of Science, Engineering, and Technology. We refer to it as CSET. But our College of Business is also a really big college and very well known. We have special accreditations for some of our engineering and business programs in those colleges. And something that's really unique about our university, especially given the price of our university and the size of our university, is we do have a lot of undergraduate research opportunities. And we're actually ranked in the top 20 for undergraduate research in the United States. We do value that a lot, which would help you if you want to go on to graduate school or even just a career after school. It's it's a way for you to learn those skills that are very necessary for the real world. Do you want to talk a little bit about CSET, Ashrid, or your experience here?
Oh yeah. So before I do that, I'd say our university is also known for its aviation program, College of
Oh yeah,
Aviation, and that's something that people usually come to the university for. But considering that and keeping that aside, I fall under the CSET, the College of Science and Education Technology, and my major is computer engineering, which is basically a segment of electrical engineering, but more towards the hardware and IT part of it. So my major has been something that has given me a whole different perspective. I mean, has given me a whole different perspective about IT and hardware separately. Um, Computer engineering is completely different from what I have back home and compared over here. And this is something that I'm enjoying here right now. And I don't regret taking computer engineering. And CSET in general provides a lot of opportunities. There are scholarships. There's a group called IEEE which is a group which helps you with general studying, internships, and all of that. So there are different facilities given to you by the university, and I suggest that everybody use it.
Yeah, our CSET is pretty awesome. If you're a woman who wants to go into an engineering or technology field, there's a lot of support for you as well. We have quite a few faculty members who are women. We have student groups on campus to help support you. And I know, if you're maybe a man looking into those fields, that may not seem like a big deal. But if you are a woman looking into a STEM field, I want you to know that we are a very supportive environment and there are really a lot of opportunities for you. So great. We talked a little bit about the scholarship already, but I do just want to reiterate that we have a scholarship for every undergraduate student coming to our university. It reduces our tuition, so it's under $10,000 per academic year. So that's not per semester, that is per year. So we're very affordable that way. And that scholarship stays with you, like Ashrit said, as long as you are doing fairly well academically and you get involved in our community and campus, you keep that scholarship. So it's a great deal. To talk a little bit about our costs too, so you can see more specifically what that scholarship does for you. We have what's called non-resident rate, which is a tuition rate for students who are not from Minnesota. We are a state institution, so our residents do get a lower rate than other students because our tax money goes towards their education. So typically students who are not from Minnesota would have to pay the full non-resident rate. This year, that was almost $17,000, $16,730. But because we have that scholarship, our tuition was actually $9,180 for undergraduate students who came to us and kept that scholarship. On your I-20, when you go to apply for your student visa, there will be an overall I-20 expense. And with that scholarship, that expense is $23,701. That $1 is very important. But that includes all of your living expenses, books and supplies, health insurance, and a little bit of extra money to do things. Those living expenses are based on campus living. So that would be living in the residence hall and paying for a meal plan. But that varies. So depending on where you live, whether you choose to live on campus or off campus, that figure could be different in reality. Asher, do you want to talk a little bit about your typical budget, if it kind of looks like this per year, or you think it might be slightly different?
Um, so I moved off campus, and it's been a year since I moved off campus. And compared to the rates, I would say off campus is cheaper. Um, because off campus does not exactly include like a fixed rate for meal plans. Is there no meal plans? It's something that you depend on yourself. And the living expenses in general, there's no there's a particular rent that you have to pay every month, and you sign a lease for maybe a year or 6 months, depending on where you live off campus. But looking at it in the expensive perspective, I'd say living off campus is different. I mean, the expenses is different living off campus because it's kind of cheaper compared to that of living on campus. But the thing about living on campus is the experiences and in general the experience. Like how do I say it? The fact that I got to meet a lot of people on campus is
Mhm.
what maybe makes it more memorable for me. So
Yeah, I think that's so true, Ashrit. I think you're talking about, maybe it's a bit more expensive, but what you're getting
yeah, it's
might be
worth it.
worth it.
Yeah.
Um, I think also I know for me, when I went to college a very long time ago, um, it was really one of the first times I had lived on my own, away from my parents or some sort of family. And so living in the residence hall, the dorms was really nice because I didn't have to worry about paying utilities. My electricity was always
Yeah.
on. I always had internet. And then the meal plan, I didn't have to worry about learning how to cook for myself and go grocery shopping while I was also trying to figure out the university and the learning and the rigor that was
Yeah,
behind that. So,
that's
I,
true.
do you feel that same way, Asher?
Yeah, I absolutely do because the whole transition from on campus to off campus was difficult for me because yeah, it's because the first time I'm living away from my parents, I'm living away from my family, so for me, general cooking and all that was an issue initially. But then as the time passed by, I got used to it too, and I started getting into a routine. So that helped me.
Yeah. And I think one of the best things about living on campus your first year, if you're from a warm place, you are never far from your classes. So you don't have to worry about
That's true.
learning how to deal with the cold while you have to take the bus to campus or something like that. So, you know, it's just a quick walk across the street if you live in the dorms outside, and then pretty much everything else is connected by tunnels or walkways. So that's also a great thing. We have one comment here from Kushal. He says, I've applied to MNSU and submitted required documents. However, I haven't received any decisions yet on my application. Um, so the first thing I would recommend, Kushal, is to make sure that you received confirmation that all required documents were in fact received. Sometimes it takes them a bit to review them and make sure that they do meet all the standards that they need. If you have received that decision, I encourage you to wait 5 to 7 business days for a decision. And honestly, right now, it may be a little bit delayed just because we're not on campus. And sometimes it does take us a little bit longer to connect to the network and view those documents we need to make a decision. So if it has been more than 5 to 7 days, though, please feel free to reach out to us to check in. We have student workers who are trained to look at that online every day from 7 a.m. our time to 5 p.m. Not on the weekends. We don't work on the weekends, but they would be happy to help you. And you can actually chat with them. If you go to our admissions page, there is a chat option. I will put that up here for you right now, and you can chat with one of our student workers right from our website. So I'll share that with you all right now. All right, so we talked a little bit about our costs and expenses. I would say our admission requirements are such that it really shows that we want to make education accessible. Really all you need to do is meet our minimum requirements and you are guaranteed admission. So that means you need to show that you do have the English proficiency we need and a GPA of 2.0 on a 4.0 scale. If you are coming from a place that does not have that exact same scale, which is quite common, you don't have to worry. We actually do that conversion here at Minnesota State. So as long as you get us your transcripts from your high school, we can go ahead and do that conversion. Right now, with the pandemic, we understand that maybe some of your scores are delayed or your transcripts from your last year are delayed. Um, we understand that it's hard right now. If you don't have access to those updated transcripts, send us what you have and we can at least look through that and see if that will help us make a decision. And it may actually be enough for us to do that. So go ahead, send us what you have. And then if we need more, we'll reach out to you and let you know. So, there are 4 very easy steps to think about the requirements. You need to have graduated from high school. Okay, so we do need to see that. Like I said, if you don't have that diploma yet or a transcript that shows that, send us what you have. You need to show us a GPA of 2.0 on a 4.0 scale. We do that conversion in-house, so don't worry about that. You need to show us English proficiency, so a TOEFL score or an IELTS. We are test optional, but if you've taken the SAT or ACT, you can use those for your English proficiency scores as well. And there are a few other options as far as English proficiency go. If you would like to learn more about those, again, chat with us online and our student workers will help you determine if what you have will work or not. Right now, we do not accept Duolingo. We are trying our very hardest to get our university to accept that for English proficiency though. So stay tuned. We are hoping that that will become available. And then, we talked a lot about financial ability to come here. You do have to demonstrate that you have financial support for at least 1 year here at Minnesota State. So those are the 4 requirements that we expect you to meet for admission. As long as you meet those, we'd love you to come join us. And then as far as completing your application, I would say our application is pretty straightforward. We are not on the Common App, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you look at it. Because since we're not on the Common App, you do not have to pay an application fee. We will cover that application for you, application fee, with the promo code INTLMAV. So step 1 to admission is go online to our website and start our application. Finish that. Know that there's no application fee. And actually right now through May 31st, all application fees are waived for undergraduate students, regardless if you use this promo code or not. And then you need to submit the required documentation. And Ashrit will talk just a little bit more about that in a minute. But after you've submitted all documentation, you would receive a decision within 5 to 7 business days. So you know if you're in or not. But like I said, if you meet those basic requirements, you're guaranteed admission. So if you know that's something that you've shown and demonstrated, you will be getting admission. So Asher, do you want to just talk a little bit about those documents?
Yep. So when you're submitting your application forms, you need to make sure you have academic transcript. For example, your high school transcript and I don't know, in India, we basically had 2 major transcripts that I had to send in. One for the 10th standard, which is basically your sophomore for high school. And I had to also send in my high school, basically my final transcript for which is my senior year for results as my transcript too. And as for English proficiency results, I had to send in my TOEFL score, where the criteria is that you had to be above 61 in order to get satisfy the minimum criteria. And finally, the financial statement and the financial affidavit. So the financial statement is supposed to be the proof that you have enough money to pay for the first year of your college career. So here you had to show an amount of 23,000, which was after the tuition, after the scholarship rate. Which that's the amount of money you had to show in for the financial statement. And there is a form with the financial statement, which is called the financial affidavit, which you have to fill in. and you had to send all of these transcripts to the email intladmp@mnsu.edu. That's the email that everyone has to send their transcripts to. And sending them all together just makes the process easier and quicker for you and for the people who are working with the registrar and the admission office.
Yes, Ashrit has very wise words there. If you can send all of those things together in one email, it will definitely speed up processing time on our end. Um, and like he said, the financial statement and the financial affidavit are two different things. So we do require a bank statement or something along those lines and the additional financial affidavit, which is a form where you indicate sponsors and things like that to us. So if you are interested in coming in fall, there is still time. Our application deadline is June 15th. If you'd like to join us in spring of next year, come on over. That deadline is October 15th. All right. We're almost out of time. It's 7:50 a.m. here in Minnesota. But I just want to let you all know that we are here for you to help you. We do virtual admission advising. Our recruitment specialist, Beth Lawrence, does advising for students virtually. You can sign up to get an appointment with her by emailing her or going on our website. You can find directions as well. Once you're accepted, we have a great team of students, including Ashrit, who,
Yeah.
as you've noticed, is really good at explaining things. But they're trained to help bring you through questions and to understand what that visa interview will be like so that you don't have to be as nervous when you go to the actual interview. Do you want to say anything else about that, Ashrit?
Um, yeah, so we've been doing visa prep sessions for quite some time now. I'd say since March, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And we've come across many students with different kinds of problems, different kinds of situations that they need to tackle, and we've always found some sort of way to help them. One of the most important things that I mentioned in my visa prep session is that all you have to do is just be confident and just answer everything truthfully and honestly, then that's it. That's the whole session. You have nothing to worry about. Until if you have all your proof, if you have all the statements, if you have all the documents ready, there's generally nothing to worry about. There's the sessions are very easy. There's nothing to be nervous about.
Yeah, I think those are really good tips, Ashrit. I've never had to do a visa interview for the US, but the students who are helping you have. So, they've got some really good advice for you and will help you through anything that you might be nervous about. So once you're accepted, you'll start getting
Absolutely.
emails about how to sign up for those. And Ashrit is one of our great students who would help you on that. Um, and then finally, we have some ambassadors pictured here that are always happy to email back and forth with you, or if you want to set up a call with them, I'm sure they'd be happy to do that as well. These students are just here to help you understand what it's like to study at Minnesota State, or honestly, even if you just kind of want to know what it's like to study in the States, they're open to discussing that with you as well. So again, we are here for you. We want to make sure that you feel informed. Um, if you don't receive regular updates from us in email form, send us an email at international@mnsu.edu and we'll get you on our mailing list so that you get all of the updates that we send out. We try to send an update on fall semester and what we know or don't know at least every 2 weeks. So if you are interested in getting those and you don't, please email us. Additionally, we have the chat feature on our website, but we do have a WhatsApp. Because we're working remotely, sometimes we don't have as much coverage on that, but we do have someone on there at least every day. And so you can message us on there or call us. And that number is 1-507-200-2265. And lastly, of course, our social media, which makes sense. We're on Facebook right now. But we're on all the platforms. We're on Instagram, Facebook, we're on Twitter, although not quite as active, and LinkedIn. And you can always find us at KCISS MNSU. So thank you so much for joining us today. Ashrit, do you have any final words of wisdom to share with students?
Um, Apart from the fact that I'm looking forward to meeting all of you once you guys come here, I don't think I have anything else to say because I'm really excited to meet the new students this time.
Same. One of my favorite parts of my job is being able to see students who have applied and gotten help from us come to campus and become a really active member here. So again, thank you for joining us. We are always available to chat. We will again be live next week at the same time. Nope, I'm sorry, we're going to be a little bit later next week at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. I'll let you know. But next week will actually be a French language session. So if you know anyone who needs the French language or parents that might need that, feel free to tune in. Otherwise, thank you. And Ashrit, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.